Basketball Club. Our D Tigers, the national men's basketball team, will be leaving for Tripoli later tonight to take part in the last window of the qualifiers for the AfroBasket. The final squad list have been unveiled. 12 players. We understand there are 2 local-based players in that 12-man list for this one. The boys are condemned to win all their matches against Cape Verde, Uganda, and Libya. Teams they lost to in the last round of qualifying. Mark, good to see you on ADBN Sport again. This, of course, Tuesday morning. Let's talk about the D Tigers. Or before we even talk about the D Tigers, you are the media officer also of Doma United. Your team is in the NLL. Share with us this terrible officiating we've seen in recent weeks in the NPFL and the NLL. Share your thoughts with us and the decisions the NFF have made concerning these referees.
All right, thank you very much for having me on this program. It's always a pleasure to be here to talk about especially what concerns what we have domestically at home. Starting from the NNL, you know, when I saw the video of that call by the referee over the weekend, I was shocked. But then I was still not shocked considering the fact that we have seen some worse officiating that can not be compared to that, especially last year in the NNL. But thank God that the NFF and the NNL board are working hand in hand to ensure that the leagues we have in the country are sanitized and we have good people who are officiating these matches. These referees, you know, sometimes I don't blame them for this kind of shocking decisions. Sometimes they are being enticed by board of clubs, by management of clubs, by players, and sometimes they are being threatened. So you see, there are so many factors that can be attributed to why referees take some of the decisions. I'm very sure you can still recall the incident between Doma United and Eyimba last season in the NPFL, where a referee had to consult a kind of OB-van of start times to make a decision. So, you know, sometimes it's because of the atmosphere you find yourself in that can make you to take some of these decisions. And sometimes I don't blame these referees, but then you have to take responsibility for your actions. You were trained severally to ensure that no matter what, make sure you take a decision and stand on it, and make sure that the decision you're taking is for the betterment of the game. And at the end of it all, we always say, let football win. But that decision by the referee over the weekend was shocking. And I think it's the right thing to do by the NFF and the NPFL to suspend the referee for the moment in time. So,
yeah, definitely. Okay, let's talk about.
Is the right decision?
Definitely. Let's talk about basketball now. Our boys are set to jet off to Tripoli, Libya. They must beat Cape Verde, Uganda, and Libya, teams that defeated us the last time round. Our league is struggling. The NBBF have been in a major crisis in the last few years. There's so much wrong with basketball in the country. And then we've already assembled a squad again. This same method we've deployed a number of times that has affected the D Tigers, who have lost their position on the continent. Of course, teams like South Sudan, Cape Verde, Uganda. I mean, I was shocked when Cape Verde and Uganda defeated us in the last round of the qualifiers. What is our hope? And then this 12-man list with 2 local-based players. You know these players so well. Walk us through that list. What are our hopes? Do we have chances? Should we be hopeful that we can go to Tripoli and pick a ticket to the AfroBasket in Angola later this year?
All right, thank you very much, Samuel. You know, it's actually funny when we start talking about basketball in Nigeria because it seems like nobody cares again about basketball in this country. Let's tell ourselves the truth. Nobody cares about what happened at the local front. Nobody cares about what the players in Nigeria are doing. We only care about trying to package ourselves and sell to the world to see that, okay, we have a national team that is working. You know, looking at Nigeria now, going back to your question, we still have hope of qualification.
Okay.
When you look at where we are now, we are rock bottom of the table of our group right now. That's Cape Verde leading with 6 points, Libya followed with 5 points, Uganda have 4 points, while Nigeria have 3 points. That's We have lost all our 3 games in the first window. That's against Cape Verde, Libya, and Uganda. And you said it was shocking to see some of these teams beating us. But it's not shocking, actually, because when you look at some of these countries and you look at what they are doing when it comes to basketball, it's not surprising at all. When you look at our recently released final list, and you look at it, there are only 2 players who are home-based players that were able to make the final list. You understand? And they are player of Koko from River Supers and Ibe Agu of Customs. So, you know,
Ifeanyi
it's
Koko.
surprising, and it makes you feel like you cannot encourage anyone again to play basketball in the country. You know, it becomes very difficult. Nigeria still have hope of qualification if we can beat these 3 countries and pick the maximum point against them. That's our only hope right now. Because right now, we are going to be playing Libya on 21st. That's on Thursday, right? Is it Thursday or no? On Friday.
On Friday.
And then if Cape Verde beats Uganda, then Cape Verde has qualified.
The calculators
if Cape
are
Verde
out.
loses against Uganda, and if Libya beats us, Cape Verde will still qualify. So it's something that the permutations are just too difficult, so complicated for us to follow right now. So, but it's just that we just have to go and play it. You know, we just have to go and play this qualification. And sometimes you cannot blame the coaches, you cannot blame the players, but the management of basketball in Nigeria. I don't think there has been a kind of consultation or maybe some kind of congress or maybe meetings to ensure that we have a kind of good national teams. Where are our age grade teams, Samuel? Can you tell me where they are right now? We don't know. Where is the continuity that we want in our national teams? Nowhere to be found. So basketball has just become something that some few heads will just sit down and decide what next to do and what not to do. And then our fate is being left in chances that we just have to cope and pray. That's what we are doing. And then at the end of it all, we hoof and poof to nothing at the end of the year.
Wow, such a sad situation. There was a time we were the #1 ranked team on the continent. Now we are behind.
That was then.
That was then. We are behind South Sudan. We are behind the Ivorians. We are behind Angola. Even Cape Verde and Uganda now are on the rising. And now we are trying to see if we can get to the AfroBasket. Of course, the last AfroBasket that we qualified for, we were 12th. We finished 12th. That was in Kigali, in Rwanda in 2021.
Do you know that according to the power ranking, according to AfroBasket power ranking, we are number 18?
On the continent?
On the continent.
Wow. What a sad situation. Okay.
So you begin to think of all this.
Okay. Let's talk about the NBBF because it appears that the federation, you look at the league, for instance, I still don't understand why it's so difficult. You are the media officer of Gombe Bulls. If I'm correct, your team only gets to play maybe within a month in a whole year when you play the Savannah Conference. And if you're able to somehow qualify from the Savannah Conference, you now go to the NBBF Super 8 or Super 6, depending on what they've decided to do in a particular year. So just within a month, in a full year, is when we are engaging our players. There's NBBF election this year. The federation, of course, are doing election this year. And you are a stakeholder also in the basketball family. And I know a couple of our colleagues watch, a lot of the sports stakeholders also watch ADBN Sport. What is your message to the board members of the NBBF and those who are going to contest again and those who are going to vote this year for those that will pilot the affairs of basketball in Nigeria for the next 4 years? What is your message to them as we wrap up this conversation this morning?
Right. My message is the present board needs to step down and allow new persons who have interest of developing basketball from the grassroots to come in. Why? Because this present board have shown that they are actually not interested in developing basketball in Nigeria, but they are only interested in how other countries or FIBA or the whole world see us, not minding what we are doing at home. You know, it's very difficult for you to try to create a good image for yourself outside the country when you yourself at home do not see yourself as a good person. So I would like to advise that we should have new persons coming on board to take charge of basketball in Nigeria to ensure that we have good management that can manage not only the league but develop programs, series of programs that will help in developing basketball in this country. It's going to be very difficult because we have to start from scratch. But it's worth doing. If we don't do it now, we'll still find ourselves in the same situation next year, the same situation next 2 years, the same situation after the next 4 years. So it's better for us to suffer now and get the dividends of it in the next 2 years. If not, we have nothing, trust me, nothing to show to our children in the next 2 years that this is what we have done in basketball. If we don't, trust me, there are people that don't even care about basketball again in this country. Imagine how many players have retired unceremoniously. Imagine how many players have left basketball because basketball is not being well managed in the country. Imagine how many talent have wasted because there are no development programs arranged for them to participate in this country. So it's just heartbreaking. We cannot finish talking about
I agree with you, Mark.
We just need new hands in basketball in this country.
I agree with you. I think it's time for a new vision for the NBBF. You can't even point to the talent that we've raised from the popular basketball, secondary school basketball championship, let's say in the last 5 years. At least we've had that competition consistently for more than 20 years now. You can't point to them. And then it appears maybe the strategy now is to go and beg those playing in the United States in one school or the other to come and play for the D Tigers and the D Tigers. The way we are doing for the Super Eagles and the Super Falcons. We've refused to focus on local talent to even sharpen them. The South Sudanese, I mean, look at what they are doing. A lot of them discovered at home, then they of course, travel to the United States for college education and all of that. Thank you so much, Mark Malele Yusuf, Media Officer of Gombe Bulls Basketball Club. He did join us from Gombe this morning. So wishing the D Tigers all the best. We follow their journey in Tripoli. Hopefully they can win their 3 games and qualify for the AfroBasket